Hello again, everybody. Steve here with episode 6 of Top 5. Top 5 is where I will take a wrestling topic and I will rank my top 5 occurrences for that topic. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 5 legends that I had at Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy for an autograph signing. This is going to be a fun stroll down memory lane, so come along for the ride. Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy. This chapter in my life only lasted, little over 2 years. There are some things that I did at the shop or in conjunction with the shop. There are memories that I wouldn't trade for anything on this earth. And there's one person I need to thank for most of those memories, and that person is the head honcho of Stranglehold Wrestling, Eric Nelson. Eric and I developed a relationship in 2014. He basically got my foot in the door in doing autograph shows and signings, and we've basically been two peas in a pod ever since. He's one of the people that I can truly call one of my best friends. He's also a military brother, even though he was Navy. I won't hold that against him. Since we met, he's been synonymous with me. I've been synonymous with him in my view. Others may not see it that way, but that's their opinion, and I'll stick with mine. We are the best of friends, and I'm proud to call him a friend. I'm proud to call him a brother. I didn't mean to get, I didn't mean to take this much time talking about my relationship with Eric, but he's warranted an entire episode. He's warranted an entire season of Top 5 in my view, and I don't know what I would do without his friendship. So I just wanted to dedicate this particular episode to Eric Nelson, because without him bringing in these legends to the shop would never have been possible. We're going to go ahead and get the list started, and we are going to start with number 5. Al Snow. Al made his appearance at the shop on May 1st, 2015. Al Snow is responsible for training someone that I absolutely despise in professional wrestling. I have often referred to this person as the human waste of space. Those of you who know me and know me well know that I am referring to The Miz. I asked Al Snow directly while he was at the shop. I wanted to make it sound like it was just in passing, so I said, "Hey, you trained The Miz, didn't you?" He goes, "Yes." And then my next obvious question was, why? I let Al Snow be aware of the fact that I absolutely cannot stand The Miz, and he was a heel at the time, and Al Snow basically told me, well, if you don't like The Miz, then he's doing his job. I said, well, basically there's I don't like you heat, but then there's I want you to go away heat. And I told him, I want The Miz to go away. He said, well, give him a chance. If you look at him closely, you'll know he's doing something right. And sure, whatever. But Al Snow was a joy to have in the shop. He signed a lot of autographs during his stay. He did radio interviews for the First Friday Festival. And he basically was real respectful to everyone that he met. He's definitely somebody that I would like to work with again someday. Tony Atlas. I have to be honest with you when I say that Tony Atlas is one of my favorite people in wrestling. He and I met in Salem, Virginia during the Star City WrestleFest. There was not a lot of people at this event, so we had an opportunity to walk around a lot, and Tony Atlas was sitting at his table, and I sat down with him, and we had a nice 45-minute chat where we talked about everything about, the wrestling business, succeeding in business. He let me know that he has seen the lowest of lows and seen the highest of highs. I considered it a blessing that he took that time to talk to me, and that was my first autograph signing event that I had ever participated in. And Tony Atlas took time to school this newbie in the business. And as soon as I got the brick and mortar store up and running, after my grand opening, the next guy I had in was Tony Atlas. We're going to let you listen to his radio interviews, because the radio station, 93.7 WQIO, were good enough to give me copies of his interviews. I believe they did one with him, and then they did one with me and him. One last thing about Tony Atlas before I let you listen to the interviews. He is definitely somebody that I want to see again. Like I said, he is one of my favorite people in wrestling. So take a listen to Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Super Q 93.7. Laura Chase here at First Friday outside of Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy with Mr. Muscles himself. Can you believe that you're Mr. USA, Tony Atlas?
Yeah, kind of hard for me to believe that I'm still walking around after all these years. I started in the wrestling business back in the early 70s. It was back then when we used to beat up on each other and go out and have a beer together and then compare how many bruises we gave each other, So the business have changed a great deal. I got to see it at the beginning. I got to see what it have progressed into now, and I feel good being here with all you good people right here in Ohio.
Now, did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, my mother had 9 kids. It was 5 boys and 4 girls.
Okay, so you can attribute your success to them and beating up on them, I'm sure.
Oh no, I came up in a single parent home. My mother had to work. Every time I see a 7-Eleven, I think about my mom. She went to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, got off at 11 o'clock at night. So we had to stick together and work as a family. We couldn't. We never was against each other. We supported each other, and we made it.
Oh well, kudos to Mama.
Oh yeah, I was very, very lucky. I had a good mom, and I met a lot of good people along the way. All my success in life I owe to thousands of people, but my failure in life I only owe to one person, and that's myself.
Well, I don't think anyone considers you a failure by any means, Mr. Tony.
Well, I have some things. I'm sure everybody got some things in their closet that they're not proud of, and I got 2 or 3 closets full of them things.
Well, if you'd like to meet everybody, just welcome on out to Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy. Meet this big guy and maybe a big old bear hug to boot.
That'll work.
Well, good evening. Welcome to First Friday in downtown Mount Vernon. Laura Chase here broadcasting live in front of Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy with two very muscular men right now. I feel very small compared to them. We've got Steve, we've got Mr. Muscles, Tony, Atlas, Mr. USA. Okay, guys, you going to do an arm wrestling thing here or what?
Oh, you missed it. We did it inside, and I about put his arm through the table.
Okay, what's the true story, Mr. Muscles?
He just told it to you.
That's the end of story. That's all the one we're going to get.
My story, and I'm sticking to it.
Cool. So what was the draw of bringing Tony Atlas in?
Well, I actually met Tony a couple of months ago. We were in a show in Virginia, and it wasn't very busy, and I actually had a nice 45-minute conversation with him. And he's been real personable with me then. He's been really great for me now, and I'll bring him back every month if I could.
So what would you consider to be like your life verse? What is the one thing that you stand on?
Well, I live in the greatest nation in the history of the world, and all my accomplishment would have never been fulfilled, and I would have never did half of what I did if I was born anywhere else. And I think, as much as people want to fuss and complain about the government or whatever their complaints is, I would tell anybody, go spend 1 week in Africa and you come back here to America, you would never complain a day in your life. We don't have it so good for so long that unfortunately we have lost our appreciation for the great nation that we live in. We got to work to get what we want into life, but it's great rewards at the end of the day. We live in a great, great nation. I've been to every country in the world with the exception of Russia, China, and North Korea, the only places on this planet I have not been in. I hadn't been anywhere else that I rather live than in this great nation, the United States of America.
And therefore you are Mr. USA.
And I'm very proud. Mr. USA is in the bodybuilding world, it was bodybuilding, but the wrestling fan turned it into red, white, and blue, and I'm kind of glad they did.
Well, we are too, and it's great to have you in town. Thanks so much for visiting us.
Thank you so very much.
Very good. Come on out to Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy tonight. First Friday, meet Tony Atlas here, Mr. USA.
And if you don't come down here, I'm going to jump down your throat, tap dance on your liver, and dare your heart to beat, because I'm the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, often imitated, but never duplicated. And Hulk Hogan, if you show up here in Mount Vernon, I will body slam you like I did in Madison Square Garden. Yeah, baby!
Yeah, what he said. Thanks for listening to the Super Q 93.7.
And now we get to the only autograph signing that we did at Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy that actually made money. When you put in the costs for all of the Ted DiBiase specific items that I had in the shop, and Ted DiBiase's booking fee, plus his travel, plus his hotel, when you add all that together, the money that I took in that day, I actually came out ahead, and this was the only time that I did. And I can hear some people thinking, well, if this is the only one where you made money, why is Ted DiBiase number 3? Well, when you see number 2 and number 1, you'll figure it out. Ted DiBiase was a joy to have in the shop. He saw a ton of people that day. You can tell by all the pictures that are flying through. It was the only time where I actually had to have somebody controlling the door so that I didn't have too many people in the shop at one time. And they lined up right when the event started, and it's like the line just kept growing. The line was out the door, and it stayed that way throughout the entire day. I mean, I know it's a long shot, but I would definitely love to work with Ted DiBiase again. I remember that I did not get a lot of FaceTime with Ted due to how busy the shop was. It's like he came in, Eric Nelson was with him, and Eric introduced him to me. I shook hands with him. I didn't see him again for another 3-4 hours. because it was that busy. But one time where I actually did get to come in and talk to him for a minute, he posed the question of Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, or Hulk Hogan, who is the most important wrestling superstar of all time? And, there was a guy in there who said The Rock, and there was another guy in there who said Steve Austin. Well, I came back with Hulk Hogan. And the reason I came back with Hulk Hogan was because I said, well, without Hogan, you don't get Austin. You don't get The Rock. So Hulk Hogan's my answer. And after I said that, the discussion pretty much ended because, point made, point taken. On to the next topic. This was a very good autograph signing. He did the media events for me because all of my autograph signings that we had in the shop were on First Friday. And I always had the radio station out there. And, he did his signature laugh on the radio. Ted DiBiase is definitely, he was a joy to have in the shop. Loved to work with him again. And like I said, it was the only one I ever made money on. And I thought that after Ted DiBiase, it was just going to go up, 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 up from there. Did wind up working that way, but hey, those are the breaks. But definitely a joy to have in the shop, Ted DiBiase.
Well, the question happens to be, who's the biggest, who's the baddest, who's the greatest wrestler of all time? Some people are saying, oh my gosh, it was old Bruno Sammartino, and it's Hulk Hogan, and it's The Rock. And let me tell you something, the answer is real simple. When the $1 Million Man is standing on his wallet, there is nobody bigger than me. Got that?
Good old Jim Cornette. Jim is the only legend I brought to the shop 2 times. I've gone in detail of some of the things that I did with Jim Cornette already. You can check the iCard here and you can see the video that we called the Cornette Files, where I documented his appearances in detail. Basically, Jim Cornette is the funniest person I've ever come into contact with. I'm not counting wrestling legends. I'm not counting athletes, superstars, comedians. He's the funniest person I've ever come into contact with. His rants on YouTube, and there are a lot of them, are classic. They're gold. He is entertaining anytime he opens his mouth. And like I said, I loved him so much, I brought him to the shop twice. He's the only person I did that with. And like I said, you can check the YouTube video we did for him called the Cornette Files, where you can see some of his antics up close and personal. I definitely will work with Jim Cornette again as long as he is willing and able. My honorable mentions are going to cover the wrestling legends that I worked with but were not at the shop. I have worked with the tag team Too Cool, Scotty Too Hottie, and the late Brian Christopher. I worked with the late Road Warrior Animal. I've worked with Cowboy Bob Orton off-site. And I got to meet a lot of great people. I met the Barbarian off-site. I met Tito Santana off-site. Well, I never got a picture with him, and that bummed me out that I didn't get a picture with him. Trevor Murdoch, the Barbarian. Had Coco Beware off site. It was Demolition Axe, or old time wrestling fans will refer to him as the Masked Superstar. And these are just going to cover some of the things that we did while we were not at the shop. And now we get to number one, the Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy grand opening. This was in the summer of 2014. And I decided I wanted to hit the ground running with the shop. So I brought in 4 wrestling legends, and I brought in Brandy Scotch Baker, who is a very good friend of mine. She's also the wife of Eric Nelson. And I decided, if we're going to get this thing started, we're going to get started with a bang. And from the day before, when all of the legends showed up, except for Coco Beware, he had travel issues. But all the legends showed up the day before, and I took them out to eat the night before, and got to know them. And I thought this is the way it should be done. If you're going to do it in style, do it right, and that's what I did. I had Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics. I had one half of the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton. I had Cowboy Bob Orton. I had Coco Beware. And Brandy Scotch Baker, one of my dearest friends. I absolutely loved everything having to do with this day, from the time it started until the time it ended. And it ended kind of late because with Coco Beware and his travel issues, I decided, I promised Coco Beware. Coco Beware is going to show up. I don't care how long it takes him to get to the shop. We're going to stay open until he gets there so that the people can see him. So that's what we did, and it was a fabulous day. I loved every minute of it. And we did some radio interviews with Bobby Fulton, Ricky Morton, and myself, and we're going to let you listen to those. Basically, everything having to do with this day was an absolute joy. You can use all those positive words to describe this day. I was giddy as a schoolgirl with all the legends in the shop. I was proud to be able to say, hey, look what we're doing here on the square. I'm bringing these wrestling legends in. These people you only get to see on TV. Now they're live and in living color for you to get their autographs. You can shake their hands. You can talk to them. It was just a fabulous day all the way around, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world. And it is something that I will never forget. I will always remember it until the day that they lay me in the ground. And I know I'm famous for saying I'm going to live forever. Well, if I do live forever, then this memory will be implanted in my head forever.
I'm Curtis Newland from the Super Q 93.7 WQIO at Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy, and it's a great night. We have First Friday happening on the square in downtown Mount Vernon, and here on the corner of North Main Street and Chestnut, we have a great night tonight for you. Former WWF, WWE stars, and with me I have Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics tag team from the 80s and 90s. And Bobby, great to meet you here today.
Well, Curtis, it's a pleasure to be here today. Steve and them went to great lengths to bring Cowboy Bob Orton, who's in the back, Ricky Morton, the Rock and Roll Express, and, of course, myself, Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics, and another great wrestling lady back there, a diva. We're excited about being here in Mount Vernon. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't realize it, but I was born and raised in Chillicothe, Ohio, and on the hour-and-a-half drive up here today, I got a chance to go from God's country to paradise, Mount Vernon downtown, out on the square, live and live in color. I'll tell you what, I'm so excited about being here. We've met a lot of great wrestling fans. We're going to the rest of this evening, but the one great thing that I'm excited about is any time that anybody puts a business in an area such as Mount Vernon, not too far from Columbus, Zanesville, Mansfield, as you said, a great wrestling store where they can come and buy great wrestling memorabilia. A man here started this business, and we're excited about meeting all the great wrestling fans here this evening. I was in the age of the 80s to the early 90s, and although at 16 when I was still in high school, I wrestled for the AAFF back then, and I just got a chance to see that clip back when Vince's father ran the wrestling company. I wrestled there at 16, and then I went to high school the next day, but professional wrestling has a big history here in Ohio, going back to the days of Al Haft in Reynoldsburg, Ohio. And back in 1949, a guy could come here and wrestle. In 1949, he could make $1,500 a week in 1949. I had a chance to wrestle on TBS back then on Georgia Superstation in the infancy of cable television. Back then, a lot of kids don't realize we could only get 2 or 3 channels out of Columbus. And that's if we was holding the antenna right. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. And I tell you what, to be a part of that legacy, how does it make you feel now? I mean, to have been a part of building something so great.
Well, you know what? I was there, like I said, in the infancy of cable television when it just went out and got big. I got a chance to be a tag team partner with Tommy Rogers, the Fantastics. The people that might not have got to catch our wrestling, they can catch it on YouTube today, the Fantastics. But I went to Japan 19 times, wrestled in Australia, Israel, all over the country. And, hey, I got a chance to live a dream. So I'm saying to anybody out there, if you got a dream, no matter what it is, you can achieve it if you work hard enough and have the passion to do that, Curtis.
All right, thank you so much. Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics. I'm Curtis Newland from the Super Q Morning Crew with Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy and Country Stitches. And we're out here till 6 o'clock tonight. Till 9, though, you can get some, you get to talk to, meet and greet, and also get some autographs from some of the favorite WWF wrestlers, WWE, and all the other wrestlings. And Ricky Morton is with us right now, the famed Ricky Morton. And Ricky, what a career you've had. Tell us a little bit about it in, 30 seconds.
Well, guys, that's it. It's over. No, I've been wrestling, buddy, full-time for 40 years, and people don't even really understand that. It's I guess if I stopped wrestling, I wouldn't be able to walk. But I want to say what a great pleasure it is to be here in Mount Vernon. What a wonderful and beautiful town. And anybody that's out there, if you're wrestling fans, guys, come on down. We're up here signing autographs. We got Bob Orton, which is the dad of Randy Orton on WWE, great superstar. Myself, Bobby Fulton, a couple of more. We're enjoying your town, a great car show. Not only that, just to meet all the people, mingle. Man, we're having a great time, and we want everybody to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Come on down.
Till 9 o'clock tonight. We've had a good time. It's fun listening to you guys reminisce, and I don't know if you guys ever get tired of reminiscing and talking about all the wrestling that you've done.
Well, that's what we do for a living. That's good times, the fun times, and the sad times and the bad times.
And you're still wrestling.
Oh, I'm telling you, every night, people can't believe it, me either. But no, I love it. When it comes the time that I can't, I won't. But right now, I still enjoy myself, and I still entertain the people.
Well, I think you're going to be doing it for a long time because you're in great shape. I mean, come on out and meet Ricky Morton in person.
All right, thank you, man. See you guys. Y'all come on down.
I'm Curtis Newland from the Morning Crew on 93.7 The Super Q, and we are at Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy at the corner of North Main Street and Chestnut, along with Country Stitches, and I have Steve Alicie's with me. And Steve, this is cool down here. What you've done tonight, you brought a big cast here to sign autographs with the WWE, or formerly known as the WWF.
Yeah, I saw opportunity. I wanted to, hit the ground running with this store, and I wanted to put all my eggs in one basket and, get people to be aware of what's going on here. And bringing in 4 legends like I got here is just, I can't think of a better way to do it.
It's got to be a dream come true for you. Tell us about the legends you have here tonight.
Okay, I got 2005 Hall of Fame inductee Cowboy Bob Orton. He's Randy Orton's dad. Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. I have Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics. I have Brandy Scotch Baker. She's simply intoxicating, Brandy Scotch Baker. And later on tonight, he had a few flight issues, but he will be here. 2009 Hall of Fame inductee Coco Beware.
Fantastic. And what do you remember most about these guys? Is there any big memories you have from growing up with them?
For Cowboy Bob Orton, I remember the first WrestleMania. He was a part of the entourage in the main event. It was Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Rowdy Roddy Piper with Mr. Orton in their corner against Mr. T, Hulk Hogan with Superfly Jimmy Snuka in their corner. And it was one show that I wish I could go back in time and attend. But, you know, I got to see it on TV. So
what a great moment. You can meet them, Ricky Morton, Bob Orton, Bobby Fulton, and Brandy Scotch Baker here tonight. Coco Beware is going to be here also. Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy, again, till 9 o'clock tonight. It's also part of First Friday, so come on down. It's a big night in Mount Vernon. I'm Curtis on the Super Q 93.7.
So this was my top 5 favorite guests that I brought to Alicie's Action Figure Frenzy. This was a blast from the past, a trip down memory lane, and I really loved bringing this video to you. And stay tuned for more top 5 videos. I will make them available as I can, get them recorded and brought to you. But this was my top 5. What's yours?